Here we are, another episode of No Lies Detected. I'm David Rain with Chike Evans, and we have a distinguished Philly guest.
Yo.
Yo, yo.
Uh,
So, Alvin, we met, it was on Transition. I think that was the first time we met, on the set of Transition. Right?
yes.
Chike
Yes,
was
we
actually, Chike did a cameo in that.
Oh.
Okay.
So, but no, he wasn't on set the same day as you, Chike. It was another scene.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Nah. Another day.
It was helping out with camera angles because we were outside and we were dealing with sound issues and stuff like that. So he came in for that day. That was like Fairmount Park-ish, somewhere where we shot that. But yeah, so Alvin is a director, movie producer, writer, activist in his own right.
I don't know if you call it that, but I'll take it.
Hey, anybody that opens up their mouth proudly to say what they got to say about what they believe, they're an activist. You know what I mean? That's what I said. So yeah, we'll let
I agree.
introduce himself the rest of the way. I'm sorry, Chike, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying I agree. Definitely activist if you're speaking up, speaking your mind in the betterment of things. Definitely.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So we'll let you take it, Alvin.
Who, me? Okay. Well, pretty much you just said everything about me. Alvin. My full name is Alvin Nyemah. To the people who don't know me out there, and I am a native-born Liberian, but I've been living in this country. I would say since 1990, when I was around like 9 years old, 9 years old. Came to this country with my mother, and pretty much, man, I'm Americanized, bro. I'm Americanized. So, but I had the opportunity to live in two separate places and have seen certain things. And just your average Joe, man, just your average Joe, and mixing with the American politics. I've been interested in it since, I would say, since George Bush Jr. So been more interested in it, man. So that's me right there in a nutshell. And as we go along, I'll tell you guys more.
Cool. So you got you mentioned something the other day that was pretty interesting. You said that you were registered as a Democrat up until a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Now, if I got that right, you're now independent. Leaning towards Trump.
Oh, I ain't leaning, bro. I fell all the way in.
Well, let's unpack that. Let's unpack that.
Oh, my man Chike did one of these on me. He did one of these on me, man.
He did a little Stevie Wonder on you, man.
Oh man. Damn. The brother leaned on me all the way. But yeah,
it was kind of like a hit. It kind of hit me.
Listen, it shouldn't hit you, man. I understand how you feel. I get it. I understand how you feel. I've been there before, so I'm not mad at you.
So unpack that.
So I guess my question to support my lean is why? Why?
Okay. Why, right? Now, when I was a Democrat, right, I voted as a Democrat, not knowing politics that well. And I'm not going to call myself an expert of politics, right? But I have learned enough to know that I was voting because every other Black person was voting. I didn't know policies. Yeah, I may have known a little policy about little policies here and there, but the truth is I voted because every Black person was, hey, what are you voting? I'm voting Democrat. That was that in a nutshell. So that's what it is. That's why I was a Democrat. Now, can you refresh me on your question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so knowing that you are full 100% into Trump.
Okay.
When you transfer from Democrat, why independent? Well, first of all, we want to know why Trump, but also why'd you go to independent as opposed to straight up Republican?
Well, I went independent because as a Black man in America, no matter what, since Obama been in and left, no matter what, I feel like we have to shop our votes around, meaning we have to look for what fit our community and what fit us before we go giving it out. At the end of the day, we're between a rock and a hard place. So you just saying you one thing will hurt you as a Black man. And another thing too, we as people, we're not united. And when I say we're not united, take your Farrakhan, take your Al Sharpton, take your other voices, right? Important voices in the Black community. At the end of the day, most of them are separated. So that leaves me and you basically at the end of the day to fend for ourselves. So I'm in fending for myself mode, basically, and my community.
All right.
I hope that I answer your question.
Well, to me, sorry, go ahead, Chike.
No, I was going to say, in full disclosure, to be honest, I'm registered independent. And, that decision came, because I registered at the age of 18 and I just could not wrap my mind around picking a side. I didn't know at that point in time what side I wanted to be on or what facts entailed with each side of the voting stream. And I thought that independent was a nice even keel down the middle, and I could pick and choose what I wanted if I was independent, because I knew at 18 I wanted to have my own thoughts and be my own man and have my own opinion. I didn't want to join a group, so I decided to be independent, and I remained that way. It just so happened that throughout life, more of the democratic points of view aligned with what I wanted for myself in my life.
It seems like, for differently said, that's kind of the same reason, right, Alvin? You don't want to be known as a Republican, you don't want to be known as a Democrat. Really, what matters less than what you register as is what you vote as. So it's the vote that's going to make the count, not the register. You know what I mean? Even though they're watching and seeing who's registering too, which is why they're doing things like oppressing voting booths, because they are watching who is actually registered, who wants to be involved in the voting process. And then they alter laws around that to either, support or bully, the voting process. But so, all right. So before we move, just your opinion, like why Trump for you? Why is Trump your go-to?
Okay. Why Trump for me? It started more so with looking at watching the news as usual. And I remember correctly, this dude was loved at one point in America, right? He was loved. All the rappers, everybody talk about him, wanted to hang out with him. And the moment he became president, everything switched. So that's when I started digging into him more, because I didn't know about him that much, right? And when I started digging into him, at one point I hated him. Now I remember, I hated him at one point because of the whole Obama birth certificate thing. When I was a Democrat, I hated him. I thought it was wrong he did that. But anyway, as I started digging into his policies, first I started with him, then I started to dig into his policies. I started to notice that, okay, this guy signed, he gave a lot of money to HBCUs, right, than any other president. Then I noticed that he did the police reform, the First Step Act. He freed a lot of prisoners, thousands of inmates, I should say, right? And 90% of those people that was freed were Black people. So, the more I started digging behind him, especially more on what is he doing for Black people, right, as a whole, I'm like, you know what? It's starting to look a little interesting to me, The Black unemployment rate have dropped significantly. It dropped from 10.1 in 2008 to about 6.1 in 2019. Now, I know Obama was between there, right? And Obama handed him a decent economy, right? But the economy, he took it up even better. But by taking it up, Black people was getting employed. There was a lot of Black families. If you even look on your timeline right now, right? There's a lot of Black people taking vacations. Black people's situation got better under him. It didn't get worse. So the more I look into that, I say, you know what? he can't be that bad. He can't be that bad. So I started looking at, Obama. Like, okay, what did Obama did for black people? I actually went back and researched that. And the more I researched that, I saw that Obama, whenever they asked him that question, like, you're the black president. What are you going to do for black people, or whatever? He always say, "I'm not only the president for the black people. I'm the president for everybody." But he give exclusively. They give money. The government gave money to the Jewish folks. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm saying it right, they gave money to certain groups. But when it came to African American, I am the president for everybody. Now, just little stuff like that, I started to look at. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad president. I'm just saying I see more impact of black people doing better under Trump than him. That was my thing. So that's why I went with Trump.
Chike, you want to respond?
Yeah. So I don't know how deep you dug into DJT's background.
Okay.
But going back to his early years, let's say when he started being a real estate developer and
Okay.
they developed housing, he
Okay.
systematically kept people of color out of his housing developments. And he actually lost a case based off of that. Him and his father had a long history of discrimination when it came to housing and people of color.
Okay.
He actually on his Mar-a-Lago estate has employed illegal immigrants on his property. He has in the past ushered in and tried to implement and cheerlead for the death of the Central Park Five. There were children. He wanted them to be persecuted for a crime that they did not do. He has a long history of discrimination and racism. It's part of his family lineage. And the whole point of, I guess, the financial part of you saying that black families did well under him, that was an extension of Obama. Even though Obama was out of office, how the economics work, it's kind of like driving a boat. You can't stop a boat on a dime like you can a car. It has to coast through. So what Obama did when he was in office, the benefits of what he did coasted through into Trump's presidency. So it looked good for him in the beginning, but he did not implement those things. That wasn't him. He claimed it. He does a lot of bravado. Basically, all the things that were of the positive nature in his presidency in the beginning, because if you notice, it took a bad turn and everything since then has been negative because the coasting ran out.
Right. And now
He is about show. He's about show. He is about showmanship. He's not a real businessman. He's not so much a successful businessman as he is branding. He took the name and he sold it to companies that could take the name and make it better. That's how he looks good to America. He was known in New York as the Shim Sham Flim Flam man. If you talk to any native New Yorker that has been in New York for quite some time, they know him as being a fraud. Just want to add this. He was embraced by the hip hop community because if you look at from 1999 to maybe 2005 to 7, it was the bling bling era for hip hop. It was all about braggadocio. It was all about bling bling and being fancy and brand names. Trump embodied that because he was about aesthetic. It was about what your persona is. So yeah, people wanted to be linked to him because it gave that air of having money, being rich, having power. He was very New York, and a lot of hip hop, especially New York hip hop, gravitated toward him because he was good for the image. There was a point in time when Donald Trump could not get a job and he relegated himself to doing Pizza Hut commercials. him and his ex-wife, to build their base back up, to build their brand back up, to be out there in America's eye, to get, you know, that recognition. But for the most part, he's a shim sham flim flam. And to be totally honest, the reason that he got the apprentice job in the beginning was because Mark Burnett wanted to have an image portrayed in reality TV that he could work with. And he revamped Trump and gave him that image. He did not create it himself. He needed the television show to create that for him. And he took that and spent it into this presidency.
Now, we're going to talk about the housing and the whole racist towards black people with the housing, right? I did look into that. And from what I gather, I could be wrong. From what I gather, what it was that it didn't want was Section 8 people moving into their building, from what I heard. Now, that's a difference with that. Even black folks that own property, some of them don't like that. So I'm not taking up for him, but it wasn't just, oh, regular black folks wanted to move in and they told them no, from what I researched. Now, as far as his business, I don't know that much about his business dealing, so I can't definitely answer to that. I don't know too much about his business dealing, but as a black man, right? If he's doing good for my people, and the bus, I know you said the boat ride came to a stall in the economy. I would say that was wrong. COVID stalled the economy. That's what stalled the economy.
Why
That's what stopped
did
everything.
it get as bad as it did?
The economy, okay.
No.
Nobody can predict.
COVID affected the economy.
Okay.
Why did COVID get so bad here that it did?
COVID got bad from my point of view, because I did some research on that. When he tried to shut the border down or stop planes from coming to America from China. You see, the problem is a lot of people forget China lied to everybody about this virus. When he tried to, Nancy Pelosi went to Chinatown, right, in San Francisco, and tried to push the whole xenophobia thing. Okay, and in doing that, Joe Biden also said it was the wrong move. It's xenophobia, and him doing that is wrong. Now, if China is the hot spot for this virus, any smart president or any smart person would shut them down first. And the reason why I say that, if you remember a few years ago, Liberia had the whole Ebola situation going on. That came through Liberia through the borders, okay? Because nobody took it seriously. Nobody wanted to do anything about it. The point is, whenever this guy tried to do something, right?
I got it. So just because of the time we got, I want to address things as you hit them. I want to address, if you don't mind, and we can keep moving.
Okay. Yeah.
So, two things. What Pelosi and Biden were against was him calling it the Kung flu, the China virus, which is racism, which caused actually Asian people in our country to be abused. Some were killed, some were beat up, their families and their children were beat up in the street by people going China virus. And it might have been a Vietnamese, it might have been a Japanese, but people are so stupid in this country that they listen to people like him, that anybody that has almond-shaped eyes is Chinese, and therefore they have the China disease. The Democrats were against him using that kind of terminology because everyone knew that the biggest threat to our homeland right now is white supremacy, not Arabs, not any other country. The biggest threat to our survival as a country is white supremacy terrorism. The whole time, Trump is always worried about his own image. He's not worried about what he's doing for you. It's about the image. Even like him to say, oh, it's nothing, it's just the flu, knowing that thousands and thousands of people around the world were already dying. So as a president, his job was to inform the public of how serious this is, and then let the doctors tell us how we need to behave. instead of calling it a hoax. Look, how do you catch a hoax? Dude's in the hospital right now under critical care and lying about that even. He's even lying about how much trouble he's in physically right now. Talking about, oh, he has a little fever and a little cough. First of all, with coronavirus, nothing is little. When you get that fever, the fever's high, and that cough, you're almost coughing up pieces of your lung. You're on oxygen machines. So he's even lying about that, because why would they be using experimental drugs that they haven't even approved yet? Because they're desperately throwing everything at him to try to knock this back. But he's telling the press, and he's telling the doctors that talk to the press, he's telling them to play it down. I feel fine, everything is okay. So once again, that's national security, bro. So we need to start preparing. Is our president gonna die? Are other countries gonna come in and try to take advantage? What should we be planning? Should we be planning? And they are. They are. Other countries are looking at us like, dude, your man, the leader of the biggest country in the world just caught corona.
And let's be fair and keep it all the way 100 on why, and what I say why, how this man came back from obscurity, because there was a point in time when Donald Trump wasn't on the airwaves. Right. And it's because he got in line with Russia, and Russia made it possible for his finances to go back up. And so therefore he was able to put himself in front of mainstream America again on that dime. And part of the government that is not associated with the Trump administration, part of their concern about it is, what is the hold that they have over him for the money that they gave him? That's why he has that allegiance to that country, because they saved him from ruin.
I don't think he have allegiance to Russia. I think
what?
The media, I think the media spent, I think the media spent things.
It's been proven that Russia got involved with the elections, and he refuses to.
No. Russia.
Let me say this.
Okay, I'll let you finish. The
only financial house that would deal with him is Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank was referred to him from Putin, from Russia. Okay. That's been proven, because he does business.
So because of that, you believe the election was rigged? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, the election was affected. Our democracy was affected.
The election. I don't think the election was affected. Let me tell you the truth why I think a lot of people's avoiding. Politicians not doing their jobs, right? Politicians not doing their job. Parties bickering over each other made Donald Trump necessary. They did it. They made him necessary. They're constantly looking at Russia. Russia wasn't the case. It was during Obama time, okay? When there's a bill that need to be passed, and this been happening, but I'm just bringing it to Obama time. When there was a bill that needed to be passed, the Republican and the Democrat bickering amongst each other. When there was anything to be done for the people, they bicker among each other. Our politician made Donald Trump necessary, and they're trying to wipe their hands from it.
Okay.
They're trying to.
I just want, like I said, when you say something.
Okay.
What is Trump saying the most right now? He literally said that coronavirus was worst in the blue. The liberals won't let me do this. The liberals won't want this. He's doing the bickering too. He's no different than what you're talking about that was happening.
No. When I say the bickering, right? I'm talking about pre-bickering, before he even became president.
But he's more of the same, is what I'm saying. So why he's just more of the same?
He's more
to get people like you excited about that, and pretended that he wasn't part of the system, but he's part of the system. He was born into the system.
You talking about a man who said that he was going to come in and drain the swamp. He is the biggest alligator in the swamp. So I've never, and I'm 50 years old, pretty much.
You look good for your age,
None
bro.
of the administrations, except for what's his name, with the jaws. I'm a crook. I will never tell a lie. What's his name?
Oh, Nixon.
Okay, I've never heard of any other crook being in the White House except for Nixon. How do you have a president and at least 5 people around him that had close proximity to him go to jail? How is that possible? If he's not
write books about it.
Listen. So you're trying to tell me, just because the other ones never got caught from different different, not regime, but different presidencies,
Cabinets, whatever. Yeah, yeah.
cabinets or whatever. You got to understand, okay? This guy been the most hated, right? Since, okay? Democrats wasted, I would say 2.5 to 3 years on this whole Russia thing with this guy. It went nowhere. They wasted taxpayer money on the whole impeachment nonsense.
Wait, hold on.
That
It
went nowhere.
did go somewhere. It's just that they run the house. So we
Yeah,
were
but
able to kick them out. It did
but
go.
they knew, yeah, but they knew this. But they knew
Technically,
They
this.
broke the law.
technically, on the
No,
history
it
books,
wasn't
he is an
proven.
impeached
It
president.
wasn't proven. It wasn't proven.
Alvin,
They
if he doesn't stay in the presidency, he's going to jail. That's a fact. That's not opinion. If he does not stay as president, that's why he's making all this hoopla and trying to like
I
the presidency.
I can
If
I
that
can
man-
guarantee he's not going to go to jail.
he's going to jail.
Listen. He's not going. Listen, and let me just touch on the whole China virus thing, okay? It wasn't right that he said that. I'm not going to sit here and say it was right he said that because
About African shithole countries.
well,
What about black people?
uh,
Never have them work in my company. These are all recorded comments.
now African shithole country. We can get to that later. I got a whole lot to say about that, but that's for another conversation. Um, this is the thing, right? I don't think it was right he said that. I'm not going to back somebody. I'm not going to back certain things he said because I like his policies. You see, that's the difference of, I think, when I say why I backed him,
Yeah.
and I say black people, we're between a rock and a hard place. I have to go with what benefit, people like me, for one. Or if I see people like me going up. Now, China also did say the virus was from the U.S. The U.S. did the virus, put it together. They said that before the words started flying between both countries. Okay, I'm not saying he's right for doing it. He should be more responsible. But at the end of the day, you can't expect political out of a non-politician. You can't expect him to be political, and he's not a politician.
You can expect him to be moral and a decent human being. Like, why hasn't he denounced white supremacy right now? Like, literally, there were brothers being hung around the country. And
I thought that was unfair when they asked him that question. I'll tell you why I thought it was unfair, right? Because there's videos out there of him denouncing white supremacy. They pick a certain group. They never asked any president that before. They never asked any president that before.
The reason why, Alvin, is not that they're picking on him. The majority of his followers are racist whites. That's why the question has to be asked. Why are you talking to this base? When you say things, why'd you say it that way? When he posted on Twitter, he posted the white man holding a white power sign in the back of a golf course and said he didn't see the sign in the shot.
I remember that.
Middle, white power.
I remember that. I remember that.
White power.
But
who do you think when he posted it? Who do you think's going? Yeah. When he did in the debate, when he said "Proud Boy, stand back, stand by."
I understand what you're saying, right? I get what you're saying. But this is the game all politicians play. They play it with black people too. They play these games all the time.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's right.
I've never heard a politician ever call the military, the same people that stand behind you and have to fight your battles for you around this country, losers and suckers. You're a sucker and a loser if you die in battle. He told one woman because her husband died.
No, he said that was a separate thing. He said if you get caught, I don't have respect for anybody who gets caught. He said
John McCain, I remember that.
He said that you're losers and you're suckers if you die in war.
Well, I didn't hear that. I'm not saying he didn't say it. If he said it, that was wrong of him to say. But like I said, I'm leaning towards him because of what I see happening with the black community as far as things getting better. Listen, all these guys are racist some way. Okay? Yeah. They all racist some way. We can sit here and kid ourselves. Joe Biden is no different. He's
Well, no,
he,
so he is different.
he's
He's
no,
different.
he's not,
Hold on,
bro.
hold on.
No, he's not.
Let me explain why I'm saying it.
Okay, okay.
He's different in the sense that he at least acknowledges white supremacy. I swear to, I know damn well I can't trust any white man,
Okay,
especially an
okay.
old white man. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the dude at least acknowledges it, that something is messed up and jacked up in this country, and that people of color, especially blacks, have gotten the short end of the stick for way too long. At least he's saying that in front of millions of people and not caring that racists hear it.
Saying is the key word. Saying.
Well, saying is the key word because there has to be a point where people admit it. No white president or even nominee has ever admitted it.
But this is the thing, right? This is the thing. I can't rock with somebody, right? Who's acknowledged. He on the last debate, he said, "I know America have a systematic, systematic racial issues."
Right.
You've been in office for a long time. You understand what I'm saying? While you was in office, Robert Byrd was your mentor. We all know Robert Byrd.
Total
all right.
racist. Yeah.
While you was in office, you didn't want the desegregation of buses. Now, I know you would say, well, Trump is racist, right?
Now.
And no. And I get it. And I get it. I'm not gonna sit here and be in denial. I get it. But at the end of the day, the reason why I lean over to Trump more, like I said, you have somebody who been 40 something years in politics,
47.
knowing everything he knows, and you have somebody who been there for 3 years and done certain things for my people. I feel like they have benefited from. Now, what can Joe bring to the table that he didn't bring to the table before, or he could have changed? He knew these things. He didn't change it.
Table that he can't now reverse, that he admitted there was systemic racism.
Yeah, but this guy legacy is the crime bill. That's his legacy. That is his legacy, the crime bill. The crime bill ruined more black families than anything. And I'm not saying everybody that went to jail was innocent, but there was a lot of black people that was put in jail for petty crime and stayed there for a long time due to that.
Also opened up the avenue for stop and frisk, which was totally screwed up as well.
And that didn't I wasn't bothered by that much, right? Let me tell you what bothered me. Like I said, I just started doing a lot of research. When I saw his speech he made to sell that bill, okay, that speech threw me off as far as like, whoa. I mean, saying we're born out of wedlocks. They know what the problem is, but they don't have time to figure out the problem. These people need to be put down. They need to be locked away. When you say stuff like that, and you're supposed to be educated and a like a politician for everybody, that just showed me you never had my best interest. You're just telling me you got my best interest right now because you need me to go and vote for you.
Now, if he absolutely believed that now, so let's say at that time he was limited in his emotional education of people of color, about their history and his part as being a white man, how he helped suppress an entire race, that would be at that time. Now, it doesn't mean that as he went through life that he grew, learned, started to understand different things, worked with Obama, now has a running mate that's a black female, black and Asian, but a woman of color, and has changed his actual policies to reverse some of the dumb shit he's done. I would rather go with someone that has acknowledged that they screwed up and want to do something different than someone who's pretending that what he's doing is right and pretending that there's nothing wrong, that there is no racism, that there is no systemic racism, that everybody's fine, and black people do it to themselves, and this and that. These are the things that the person in office now is. So I'd rather go with somebody who's working on change, which is the only direction to go, in my opinion, is to go in a place where things are going to start facing a different way and growing into something different.
And Kamala and Joe both have gone on record and said exactly that they've changed through time. And Biden specifically said that Obama helped bring him to certain, wokeness in his life that helped him come to the point to where he is now. They know that America's changing, and the younger generation is not here for it. They're not having it. They're here for equality. They're different than even our generation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you say the same thing, right, based on what you're saying, you can kind of almost say that about Trump in a way too. Maybe what he did in his past, he had let most of it go. My thing is this, right?
He's still doing
Wait,
it.
hold on.
Whoa,
Wait.
not when he's trying to stop the healthcare in the middle of a pandemic.
Bro.
Not when he's trying to take away abortion rights for women. Not right now. Can't say that.
Bro, if it was Bernie Sanders that have gotten elected for the Democratic Party, for sure I'm going to go with him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I preferred a Bernie Sanders Warren ticket, to be honest.
I'm being serious. Like, I would go with him.
I agree, but he was too radical for the overall agenda.
Camilla, listen, Camilla, if I'm saying her name right, she, if you, man, Kamala locks so many brothers away for petty crime, so many people away for petty crime, man. It's hard for me to side with these people because these people have done mass dirt. Trump haven't done the dirt on a mass scale like they have.
Because he wasn't a politician. If Trump had been a politician, he would have had just as bad of a history.
Well, that's a if. I'm looking at reality. What's going on?
And the reality is one person is blatantly racist and the other one is saying that they understand and they're trying to change. That's the reality right now. One is a racist that's actually, he's literally amplifying violence, especially against people of color. He's amplifying it. And anybody who doesn't agree with him, he's amplifying it. He even said for the Proud Boys to stand by and hang out at the polls and make sure you see what people are doing. That's a secret way of saying voter intimidation.
Something before I get out of here.
Sure.
If you guys can give me the time to say this. Look, I know it's crazy as Black folks, people always go, yo, why you gonna vote for this guy, or why this guy, why that guy, right? For me, I can't tell every other Black person who to vote for. I can just tell them to go out and vote no matter what, because if Trump get picked, you're gonna be ruled under him. I hate to say it that way. If Biden get picked, you're gonna go by his policy. So you just need to get out and vote. But I will say this to every Black person: look at policies. Yep. That's important. Don't look at the person all the time. I'm not saying the person don't count, but look at policies, because at the end of the day, whether they're soft-spoken or harsh or racist or not racist, when that policy go into effect, that's what's going to shape you. So please, Black folks, study everybody policies.
Well said, Alvin. Well said.
You coming on, brother.
Thank you.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Cool, man.
All righty.